What is love? When you love somebody, then, I mean, we all want good things to happen to ourselves and keep the bad things at bay. You know, when you love somebody, you want that as much for them, if not more, than you do for yourself. I mean, that it is just, the world has to go right for them or you won't be able to bear it. I think that that is, you know, we're all just naturally, for good evolutionary reasons, we feel that way about ourselves. We all want our lives to go well and to flourish. And when you love somebody, you feel that as keenly for them as for yourself, and often more keenly. And that's what the feeling, I think the feeling of love is. My life, I won't be able to survive, really. I will be very hard to recover if something, if bad things happen to that person. It's very nice, actually. And we had known of each other through our works. When I read How the Mind Works, I, like so many other people, just my way of thinking forever changed. The kinds of questions I could now ask forever changed. New sorts of questions opened up, new sorts of speculations. And I just thought it was great. And then Steve was arguing on the pages of the New York Review of Books with Stephen Jay Gould. It was a quite contentious argument, letters back and forth, because Stephen Jay Gould hated evolutionary psychology. He really had strong, you know, somewhat political, strong Marxist reasons to dislike the more deterministic aspects of evolutionary psychology. So there was this heated debate going on. In the midst of it, Steven Pinker published a new book, Words and Rules, and I ran out to my local bookstore and bought it and went immediately to the index to look up Gould. I wanted to see if this really interesting argument was going. He was going to get a few more swipes in. And I didn't find Gould. I found Goldstein. I found Rebecca Goldstein. And I thought, okay, it's a very common name. It's another Rebecca Goldstein, clearly. I have nothing to do with this argument, or indeed with the subject matter of the book, which was about irregular verbs. Steve Pinker has this great passion for irregular verbs. They're his little friends. He's obsessed with them. And he quoted my use in one of my more obscure writings of an obscure past participle. I had said had stridden rather than had strided. And he said, you know, he wrote this, some of our finest writers will always choose the more obscure form of a verb, you know, it's more poetic and they're keeping it in play. And, you know, and I thought, oh my Lord, Steven Pinker knows who I am. He's read this obscure work and he thinks I'm one of our finest writers. And I was just like, oh, you know, I was shocked. So it gave me the courage to ask him for a blurb for one of my books. It was Properties of Light, a novel of love, betrayal, and quantum physics. He gave me a very nice blurb. And we just kept reading each other. And it was Seed magazine that arranged for a salon between a writer and a scientist. I think they went to him first and they said, what novelist would you like to talk to? And he said, me. And that's how we actually met. So what I guess I'm saying is we fell in love with each other's ideas and writings and way of looking at the world long before we met each other. And it has continued, I would say. So it is, you know, it's not just an intellectual love, but it's, that's a very strong part of it, I would say. And it is an extraordinary gift to me to now have this person to bounce ideas off of. And we've both, I think, strengthened each other in our own intuitions, so that, you know, and it's made us, I Yes, I think, knowing that the other person agrees has in some sense given us more confidence in our intuitions. Yes. Um, I don't know. I think for me, it's always good to think that the experience of everything, romantic love and love for one's children, and just a love of science, love of whatever, is somehow strengthened by thinking about it and understanding it, understanding what's going on there. So I don't find that it gets in the way. I mean, you don't always want to be thinking, and I wouldn't say that we're guilty of that. But one of the things I have loved about Steve Pinker as a person is, and as a thinker, is that the two are very wedded together. It's not that thinking is his day job. Big ideas are his day job, and it doesn't feed into the rest of his life. His passion for clear thinking is, and his intellectual integrity and honesty, and letting everything be up for argumentation. This feeds into all of his life, and it's just, I love that about people, that we can do that, and I love it about him. I mean, he's one of the finest representatives in our day of this kind of intellectual, and also I ought to mention playfulness. He's such a playful thinker. It's never somber, and that is true of him in his books, and it's true of him in life. So it's all knitted together